All right, enough of our talk. So let's continue from where we stopped yesterday. So I told you that we are going to be using AI to generate our brief, right? Because we are including that in our studies, how to use AI to help us get better with our designs. So AI can help you various ways as designers, right? So as a graphic designer, you might be looking for ideas on how to design this logo. As you saw what we did yesterday, we used the Meta AI and said, give us a design brief for a random client. So before, when I was having physical classes with my students, what I do is that I ask a student to just give me any of their business name. So it's their business name we'll use and design. I think we created for one girl that was making a skincare, another for someone who was working for what's it called, a solar company. But now I want us to be using AI, because if you use AI, you can practice by yourself, right? So let's say one way to build your portfolio is by working on a lot of projects, and so that whenever a client wants to work with you, you can present that. Let me tell you, in this our tech space, since I've been working for brands like as a designer, I've not submitted certificates, right? What I submit most time is my portfolio, and they see what I've done. Okay, what software do you use? And you are employed, and you can work for like multiple people as a freelancer, right? But there are some gigs. I think there are some gigs where you might ask for certificates. So how do you now build this portfolio as a beginner, as a designer? You might not have clients that will give you a job that trust you right now. So AI is your go-to. Either ChatGPT, Meta AI, just say, ChatGPT, act as my client. Give me a logo design brief. Give me a flyer design brief. What do you want me to do? Come up with the name. So it comes up with the name and everything. And I told you the next thing we have to do is understand the brief, right? So you have to read the brief and understand the brief. As we saw here, design a logo that embodies the essence of luminal mission and value. So the logo should be modern, sleek, and versatile. And we have explained what versatile means, right? Already. Now, when we're talking about modern, if you want to see what does a modern logo look like, you can check recently. Most brands are rebranding. Even MTN rebranded, I think, like 2 years ago. Xiaomi also rebranded. Then you will notice something about their font choice. I've taught you guys about typography already, where we talk about sans serif fonts, serif fonts, and script fonts, right? So if you notice that most of these brands are tilting towards a sans serif font, something like is this sans serif or sans? Can't check any of them. What I'm talking about is Arial, Century Gothic, Gilroy, Tauma, Monstrat, Poppins. So those kind of fonts, they are. I told you that those kind of fonts are good for body design, right? So those kind of fonts, they are very very simple, easy to read. So you might not need to go into the future and start changing your design. And I told you that branding is very very expensive. So let's say, for instance, you just created a new brand, right? And your color code is yellow and let's say purple, right? And you blended it for your branding of your shirt, of your website, even your office, you paint it with that same color. Now imagine that in 5 years time you have to rebrand again, like you didn't like what you did before. It means that if you are changing the logo and you change the colors that you used, all the shirts you have made before are no longer useful. You have to design new shirts, need to repaint, need to change your website color. So once there is a problem with your logo and your color, and you rebrand again, it affects everything that you have ever done, right? So branding is very very expensive, which is why when you are going for your first brand, you should get ready to pay a professional that understands it, so that on the long run that may serve you for like 10 years. And I told you about logo that serves for a long while tends to like tie to the hearts of the client. So for example, if you're looking at MTN, that's been for a long while, Apple, Nike, Adidas, this kind of brands, they are strong in our mind because they have been using the same kind of logo for like, when did we say Apple was first designed? So let's check it. The first Apple logo was created in 1976, right? Before they now designed the new one in 1977. And since 1977 till now, they have been using the same logo. They have not changed, right? So that way, they have been able to like hold the heart of the mind. So anywhere you see Apple that is cut like this, the only thing that comes to your mind is the Apple brand, right? So when designing, you have to like be sure that this is what you want to do. There was a client I was working for before. We designed for a real estate company. The name is, I think it's Billion Homes, right? Now the mistake the client did was they didn't go and check with CSA and CAC if the name was taken already, right? So after we have designed everything, they now went and checked and they found out that the name has been taken. It's none of my business. Me, I have designed, they have paid. So what do they have to do? They have to like come up with a new name and we have to design all over again. But this time around, they have to check and you see that I have to charge them extra. So even when you are designing the logo, you have to find out the name that you are selecting. Has anybody used it already, right? So that it wouldn't affect you. So as a designer, these are one of the things that you have to also advise your clients on, right? So it's part of your duty. Part of your duty. If you are in church now, say talk to your neighbor and say it's part of your duty. So there's something I want to do now. I want to cut this stuff. There's no need. Let me just delete this out. All right. I'm going to delete this out. So we're going to just use this for our full branding. Right. So remember we created a mood board yesterday and I told you what a mood board is. So a mood board sets the tone for what you want to design. So we do not steal from what these designers have done. We just use it as an inspiration. So after we have studied the brief and understood what the client wants, then we begin our research. So what does research involve? Research means searching for designs that pertains to that same industry. So Lumina is an AI tool. I think that's what the brand said. Lumina is an AI powered tool that helps creatives, right? And so from the name Lumina, the name means illumination, and illumination means light, right? And the key elements for the design was light or spark, right? And they wanted us to go with a word mark or a letter form based logo, or even an abstract if you understand it very well, that is distinctive. And we now had to search and find out brands in this same industry, and we saw a letter C that was made like the sun ray, and letter G here also, and here we have a spark and this. So after we did that, so this first stage, after understanding the brief, we now move towards mind mapping, right? Mind mapping is where I told you about using the name of the brand to create other names, right? So if we now say light spark, what does light mean? Light sometimes means knowledge, and what icon can we use to represent the knowledge? A bulb is a form of an idea, right? So when you now make a draft of all these names, then you can now think of the icon that you want to use to represent this design. And after all that, we created a sketch, right? And we did it in black and white, right? And after we have created them in black and white, we now have to apply the color. Now the color we used was the color that the client gave to us, right? Through the X code, right? And I told you, I've taught you about color theory already, and you understood what color X codes are. That when a client tells you that I want you to use color blue is my color, you shouldn't just go and use color blue, because there are thousands of blue, all right? So if you just go and use any blue and it prints out, the client is going to tell you, this blue is not like my blue, the blue is not bluing, right? And you have printed the banner. Let me tell you for a fact, the client will not collect it. You will take the banner and tie on your window, and you will print a new banner for them. So money has waste, understand? So that is why, as a designer, what we ask for is not the color, we ask for the X code, right? The X code of that color. And the X code that we were giving here was #03A9F4. So when we draw a box and fill up that box with this code, we are going to have the exact color that the clients want us to use. Now, most clients nowadays don't know what X codes are, right? So as the designer, it's also your job to educate them and make them know what this is. Now, if you are the designer that is just making their brand new, like they don't have any brand at all, fine, they say they want color blue, then you can create the new color. When you have created the color, then when you are sharing the brand guideline with them, you now impute the X code, right? So that whenever they need, maybe they want to design something in the future and you are not available, and they want to use another designer, they can easily share the color code with the designer, and the designer will design with that same color. All right. All these students are with, wow, it's chatting me, you cannot join class. Please stop sending me message in my DM. All right. Then we finally came to this. So I said that we are going to vote. All right. So everybody, let's get to our chat box. So I told you that I'll be voting, right? We have option one, option two, option three. So let's vote. Which one would you want us to? Don't follow my vote. I know if I vote first, not all of you will follow my what I voted for. So we have three options. So after we have created a logo, we don't create just one option for the client because it will limit the client, right? So here's my own vote. I'm voting for number one. I think yesterday I liked number three, but I just looked at it now. That's why sometimes it's gonna go for option three. Nice. Who is voting next? Oh yeah, everybody post so that it wouldn't be that I just selected. Somebody have gone for option three. Everybody option three. I know that I influenced your choice because I said option three yesterday. Okay, you know what? You guys that have choose option three, put on your mic. Tell me why. Why did you choose option three? Like, what is the reason why? Chineye, you were not in class yesterday. That was good for you. And Chineye, please, is there any particular reason why you choose option three? I know Oluwa Bukola. Okay, he said because of the sign, it's popular to denote charging. But do you know what this brand stands for? What they stand for? Their brief from their brand brief. I know that the Thunderbolts represent charging and stuff, but how would you relate that to the brand? How would you relate that? Help me. Let's help ourselves because if you get to understand it, when you start designing logos for your own clients, it won't really be hard. Chidera, you have said that one. Oluwa Bukola, you also said number three. Do you have a reason why? These other people in this call, are you people not hearing? It's only trouble. Okay. That's an abstract mark. Abstract. Okay. Thank you. Let me check another person comments from the chat box. Say I don't really know what the company stands for. So I from the brief now I've opened the brief. Like you should know there are some AIs now, right? Like ChatGPT, Meta AI. Now those ones can be used by anybody, right? But this logo we are designing, the AI is for creatives, right? For designers, web developers, like anybody that has to do with tech, right? So the AI helps them, right? So it's like a creative community, right? And the name is Lumina, right? So the Lumina means illumination, like knowledge, right? Light, spark, creativity. So, and from what you said, the key elements that the brand brief said we should use light or spark element to represent creativity. Now, if you now look at the options that we have here, the Lumina here is looking like a thunderbolt, and if you look closely, if you look very very closely, you find out that the Lumina thunderbolt is also looking like letter L, right? For those that were around yesterday, we created like a letter L. So if you want to see how we constructed this logo, you check the video I sent yesterday. You find out how we constructed this logo. So it looked like a letter L also, right? So we were able to like inculcate both the initial. Remember we said letter mark logos has to do with the first letters. So the letter L was inside of it, and then the spark. So another person said they went for number two. I think I like number two also. So where we use the I dot to change to a sun ray, right? So it's also nice. But let's see how many votes we had. So drum roll, the winner for the vote is option three. All right, but I also like this number one. Is kind of like a sun ray that spreads through the letter L. So since we are not going for any of them, bye bye. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to ungroup and I'm going to delete these ones. So before we continue, I want to create like, because I told you that this will be like our project. So we are going to continue with this design all through, right? So is this same brand name we are going to use and design a business card, a letter heading, an ID card, a flyer for this same brand and create some mock-ups, right? So I want to like create it like a brand guide style, a brand style guide, right? So I'm going to duplicate this logo and come out here. So I want to create a front cover. So when we create a front cover, then we'll progress. All right. So what kind of front cover would I need? I'm going to check here again. Creativity, modern AI. So I'm going to just go to my free pick. So I like to use free pick most times to get quality images. So from free pick, we're going to search for a background. Let's say modern 3D background. So if you're designing also and you need images, free pick is one of the best place to visit. Though they give 10 free pictures per day if you are registered with them, right? But you can also register for premium where you can collect everything for free. I say for free. You pay completely per month. So I said modern AI 3D background. Let's see what's going to come out. So I just like most times to create my background first of all, the front cover, so that I wouldn't be thinking about it again later on. So in case you don't know how to search images, this is also part of our tutorial. So free pick is one of them. You can use Pinterest also. You can use Google self, because if you just Google the name on Google, the picture would pop up. When you click on the picture, most times our advice, you can download the image there, but whenever you click on a picture on Google, Google is going to show you the link to visit the actual website. So when you visit the actual website, you can now download the original form from that website also. I don't know why we have to pray for internet every day. This picture should just load. That's the only thing I want to download. I think I'll be downloading my pictures before class starts. But if I download before class, it will not do you guys any good, because you guys won't know how I downloaded it. So there is also an AI now in free pick also. So before, when you search for pictures on free pick, sometimes you might not see what you're looking for. So when you search, the AI generator would even generate something from what you just typed, right? And I think that's the welcome stuff in free pick. So now you can see that AI is here to help us, right? So in the beginning, when AI was introduced, people be like, AI is going to pursue us, AI is going to do that. So the people that are going to have difficulties with AI are people who don't learn how to use it, right? So if you learn how to use the AI tools, they make your job super easy. So let's just wait for this stuff to get downloaded and I can use it in the design. Why you take it? Go. I don't have strength. As it's taking time here, let me check from my phone also. So if I get the image from my phone also, I'll just forward it via Bluetooth. We don't have that much time to be wasting today. Modern AI 3D background. I've seen some. First, some of the ones I've seen now, they have like the particular color of the brand, gong gong gong. I wish this guy can just load. So I'm downloading a particular one. Once it downloads, I'm going to forward it to my PC. So hope you can still see my screen. No. Are you serious? So please just hold on. I think network issues. So I'm rejoining on my PC. You should be able to see. I think I'll take this time to like transfer the file I have from my phone. Fine, this network they work well for your side. Nah, to join class like this, network to do. I guess you should be seeing the screen now, right? Yes. All right. So let's. Yeah, yeah. So I've sent the background I want to download. So in case you want to download, you just type that same stuff that I typed, and you will see it. So I use Bluetooth instead. I don't know if I download from here, it's taking so much time. Hey, where did I save this Bluetooth? Okay, I've seen it. So I have to import that background. Import from my documents. So in case you don't know how to import, you click the import tool, and it should take you to your PC or your documents or your download. So wherever. So this is the background I downloaded. I'm going to import it and bring it in here. So if you look at the background now, you see that I purposely downloaded this background because if you look at it and the logo I'm working on, they are kind of looking like the same color, right? So we'll draw a box. I just drew a box to fill up the space. So now I'm going to power clip this inside of here, actually by dragging in. So we'll ask it to fill up the space. So you just right click and you say fit content, fill frame proportionally. Right. So I might not need to do any other editing to this. I'll just leave it this way. So I can place this here. Alright, so you can see that the black text won't work on the design. So I'm going to ungroup it and change here to white. So that we can easily see everything. So you can choose to like change the arrangement of this design, change it to this way, or like this, or turn it upside down. Whatsoever one you feel works best for you, but I think this way is better. Alright, so we can arrange the front cover in various form, right? So we're going to write something like brand guideline. I think the font type we have here is okay, it's Gilroy we're using. So I can duplicate, come down here and see, and just type something else. So what we are creating is a brand style guideline. Like this. So I can decide to like just place it here, the brand style guideline here. Then at this side. So sometimes in our brand style guideline we are allowed to like put our brand name. Alright, so I can just say, since I'm the one designing it, I see love designs. I don't want to be using this name for most of my brands again, so I'm using my new name that I want to be using, creative click. I'll add 2024 to it. So my name don't really need to show that much. I'm going to make it smaller than. So just like this, I've created the front, right? So sometimes I also like to create the back at the same time, right? So for the back cover, I will still use this same design, for the back cover also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate this, everything I have here. But for the back, I'm not going to use the full brand name. I might just use only the icon. So I can leave it this way, or I can make it even white. Right? So I think white is better. So now we have the front and the back. And most times we put, I think, thank you at the top. But it's not really necessary. Right? So I'm going to just leave the thank you alone. Make this place smaller, 30. Alright. So now we have page 1, and this is page ending. Let him just be outside until I get to my final destination. Alright. So on this page I can still leave this, I think, the logo brief. Sometimes we add it to the design depending on what we are working on. Alright, so I'm going to not leave logo brief, but the font type there is Arial, right? And I don't want that, so I'm going to change the font to Gilroy, and I will reduce it from 24 to like 23. That is much change, right? Let's change to 20, Rico. Like this. So I want to zoom closer to this. So these are all steps for creating the brand guideline. So like there are other brand guidelines that are very complex, right? But for those, since you're still in the beginner stage, we are just going to create A very very simple brand guideline that is just going to, at least let's say you're working for a new client, you can use that as your presentation. So remember I said if you want, that's when you can include this, but it's advisable to include this so that everything that the client wanted can be seen, so that if they read the brief, they'll say, okay, from this brief was what the designer could now create what they did. All right, so we are going to create a pattern very soon, but I want to create a background here. Before we create that background, we're going to, this stuff is going to be following the page everywhere we go till we finish everything. So what color are we going to use? I'm going to pick a color from our color palette, right? Edit, copy properties of this. So remember, our dark color is not black, it is a different shade. So I chose to copy instead, which is the wrong idea. Okay, that's copy. Control V. We'll give it the dark color. Yeah. So I'll ungroup this stuff. I want to reduce them a bit. No need. So I'll just have to move you upwards. So we wouldn't leave this background just empty like this, right? So see what I said I was going to create a background that is going to make this thing work. So I'll duplicate this. So I don't want to use this same background for the white stuff, so I'm going to give this stuff here an airline, right? I'll give it an outline of black and remove the inner color. So I will increase the outline to, like, let's say 4. Let's say I'm looking like, I think 5 would be better. Alright, so this outline, I'll convert it to an object. So remember when I told you that an outline, if you increase the size, it's going to become thinner, right? And if you reduce it, it's going to get thicker, right? But that's not what I want. So I'm just, so that it will be an object. So no matter how much we increase it, it will have the same thickness. So we go to object and we say convert outline to object. So now it's an object, so I can just easily tell it, edit, copy properties from this, right? So the outline now has that color. So we can now power clip it inside of this white box. So the reason I'm doing that is to tie the design, because when you see the design elements of the brand, you, whatever you see any stuff, you're going to remember it. So I'll make this very very big. So then I'll duplicate. I need like two. I think I'll put this one this way. So what I'll do is I'll click on two of them and make them transparent, because if you leave the color that way, it's going to be having issues with your text outside. So I this is the transparency tool, so you have to click on it. Remember when I used transparency tool before? You click on transparency tool. We have non-transparency, no transparency. Then we have fountain transparency and uniform. So this is fountain, the one I used the other day, but we are using uniform this time around. So I'll make it the transparency to be at least 93. Then I'll click done or finish editing. So if we go to fit, we can now check. You will see that the R is at the background. You can see it. So it's light, but it's at the background. So we can see the stuff at the background here. You see it? Just like this. It's going to fit the background. So this is a very good way to arrange your design. Alright, so like this, we are going to be using this background all through this design. I think this stuff is a bit big. Let's reduce it here. So say 50. I'll make this one go to the right. So I'll group them, Ctrl G with the background, Ctrl G also. So page down. So I'm going to delete my mood board. I don't like, most times I don't keep the mood board. I'll delete them. It is my inspiration, so no need putting it in here. So I'm going to copy the background, Ctrl C. Nice. Small copy like this thing will be loading forever. So you realize that I opened a new page, right? So everything we are going to be doing is going to be on this page. So we have page 1, page 1, page 2, page 3. So what I want to place here right now is the logo all together. So I'll place it on an empty page. So definitely I'll have to change the color from this to this. Alright. So you see right now we have created 3 pages. This stuff is looking too big to me. Let me reduce it to like 18. Nah. I think it's because of the spacing. So all this needs to be checked out to make sure your design arrangement is proper. If not, it will not look nice. better than before. Let's see it at 19. All right. So the next page, we have done Lumina on just the next page, right? So the next thing I want to do on the next page coming after it is spreading the logo in variations, right? I told you guys about creating various variation with the same brand. Sorry, with the same logo, not same brand. Man, all right. So I'll duplicate this, Ctrl D. We'll have the first one here. All right. I think it's just two I'm going to do because they don't have the word is just one word. Can ungroup the name. So I'm thinking of reducing this. So I'll make sure that the same spacing that I have between this and this is the same spacing I have below here. So an easy way to do that, I'm just going to draw a box and bring it down here. So I can rotate it by making the box go 90 degrees. So you can see that we have the same spacing, both when the logo is horizontal and when the logo is stacked. So right now we have three variations of this logo, being horizontal and being stacked and just as an icon. So this is the icon, this is the horizontal logo, and this is the stacked logo, right? So like this, we have given a rule of how these logos can be used. It can be used in a stacked form, it can be used in a horizontal form, and it can be used just as an icon. So wherever this logo is going to be represented, it's going to be represented this way, right? So this is a rule that we just created for the clients, right? A very simple rule which they must abide to if they want uh, the brand to thrive. I think the next thing we should go into is the logo rationale, right? We should just create the logo rationale. I think that's one of the most exciting parts I like whenever I'm designing most times. Let me see how this background will look. Black, okay. So I'll create two type of logo rationale. So we'll ungroup this. So here we'll explain the idea behind what we designed. So this is the final thought process. Alright. So our icon was created from, remember we said a thunderbolt and letter L. So I'll just delete all the other letters. So we'll break it, Ctrl K. This should be here. So we need a thunderbolt, right? Easily, instead of drawing it again, let's do it from here. So I'm going to break this curve apart. So we have to rearrange it to look. How does thunder look like, sir? Nah, I forgot it. No, 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 no. So underneath of it, I'm going to type their names. And this will be a spark. So it doesn't end here, right? So group this ones, Ctrl G, put it at the center of the page. Alright, so you're always looking out for the arrangement. So I'm going to copy this background again. I guess. So I've created an extra page. This should be here. So I'm going to just get the thunderbolts, just the thunderbolts, bring it to the center of the page. So here we'll now give like proper explanation of what we did. So now here is another area where I bring in AI, right? So I already have the idea of what I want to do. So it's a fusion of letter L and Spark to create the logo for Lumina, right? So and what does Lumina do? What does Lumina do? We see it's an AI technology that helps artists or creative person. So it's a platform that creates stuff like that. So key element was Spark to represent creativity, and we used the letter L from the name Lumina, so merged it with the Spark to create the logo. So the rationale we are creating right now will just be for letter L and the Spark. So now this idea that I have, I can just type it out, right? But there's a better way I can get it to look better, right? The idea is there already. All I need to do is to just use the AI, right? I'm going to go back to WhatsApp, so that it won't be as if you guys are not seeing what I'm doing. I'm going to do it. Should I do it inside? Like, okay, I'll do it myself in my own Meta AI. I don't want to use voice notes in there. So now I'm going to record this voice notes. I say, hi Meta, can you create a rationale for a logo I just designed? So Meta AI can use voice notes, and that's very wonderful about them. So I can, because with voice notes we can speak better, right? I can speak better and explain myself well. So I can say, hi Meta AI, can you create a rationale for a logo I just designed? The logo is designed already, all right? The brand name is Lumina, Luminaa, right? So we designed a logo that embodies the essence of Lumina. So the logo is modern, sleek, and a versatile logo, all right? And the key elements for this logo is light or spark, but we went for the spark and took the letter L from the Lumina. So merged a spark and L together, letter L, to create the icon, right? So now I want to create a rationale around this. Now we need two rationales, which is for the letter L to represent that L is from the name Lumina, so that when people see it, they can recognize the letter L and say, okay, this logo belongs to Lumina. Then also the L was placed inside of it using a negative space, kind of, but you can still see it properly because of how it's met with the spark shape, like a thunder shape. Then also the spark represents creativity and inspiration, right? Because it is an AI powered application that we are designing the logo for, where artists or creative persons can reflect on the platform and focus on art and design. So create two rationale for letter L and what the Spark. So I can send this voice note and we'll see what is going to come up with. Oh my god. You know, when you're in a call, you can't record voice notes. Like you can't record voice notes. Jesus. So you know what? You guys should just chill. I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to record again for the AI. So I said that I'm creating a logo for Lumina, Luminaa, right? Lumina, and it is an AI powered technology that is for artistic or creative person to reflect on the platform, focus on art, design, get inspirations for write up, designs, music, and stuff like that, whatsoever that has to do with creativity. All right, so the key element the brand gave was light or spark, and we went for the spark element, and we infused the letter L from the brand name Lumina, so that when clients see them, they can easily recognize it. So if you're mixing the letter L and the spark, you are getting an L that look like a thunderbolt, right? Letter L that is tilted to the side that look like thunderbolt. So I need you to express the rationale that I'm explaining better. So explain the letter L representing the Lumina name, the brand name, their mission and their values. Then explain that the spark represents creativity and inspiration. So it signifies what the platform creates and reflect the platform focus on art and design. Thank you. So just two, letter L and the spark. So my mic is on. Oh my god, what's wrong with this guy? Did you listen to the voice note I sent? I said create a brand rationale for Lumina. The icon I designed was a letter L and a spark. Create a rationale behind letter L, meaning Lumina, their brand mission. It is an AI tool that is for artistic people or creative persons to find resources, get ideas for art and design and stuff. So the spark in the design means creativity and inspiration, ideas, knowledge, right? While the letter L there represents the brand name Lumina, and this was infused with the spark using lines and a bit of negative space. So I needed to create a rationale behind what I just told you now. Please, I'm stressing my life. This guy is dumb. Lumina, not jewelry. Lumina. What? Oh my guy. I think we're going to type this thing ourselves lastly, because this AI is sometimes it begins to be very dumb. Like I'm giving it a new project to do, and it's still replying to a message I sent like early in the morning. I think it was even yesterday. These people should work on this AI. The AIs are dumb. So I'm going to just do it myself. So I said letter L. So say this represents the brand name Lumina, and the connection with what's just going on. With the spark represents what the brand offers, which is an AI platform that helps artists or creatives connect and generate ideas and what the rest of that platform is for. Creativity and inspiration, right? So we are going to check how this looks like. Let me make it on height. So I'm going to reduce the size to like 25. Then we'll type another one. So that would be for the spark.